What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Fractal Trading. This is Franz. We haven't spoken to each other for 4 weeks, but in our long-term trading approach, we of course want to give the market enough time to develop and to give us valuable new information which we can use to replace stops or just take new entries or whatever. We actually have quite a bit to cover here for the week. To see what has been going on in the last 4 weeks and what the outlook is. Now, this is week 26 of the year. We are halfway through the year, and we do have running trends in the indices. We do have some new opportunities in euro pairs, in yen pairs, and I also see some interesting developments in silver. We'll have to see if the metals will really show us a new trend. We are very early in the stage there. But let's start out with the indices. What we have here is the running S&P, and the S&P has been running since the breakout occurred down here. We have been talking about this, and we have been taking this as well. We have new signals after the first breakout right there and in here as well. The market is now trading at 24.25, and this week did give us a little bit of a retracement, but as you can see on our long-term time frame, we couldn't care less about this intra-week volatility that has come up here this week. We have been coming closer to the blue line. We do see lack of momentum, but the price dictates whatever we do. And right now the price is staying in this trend. The price is staying above the balance zone. And as long as it's not trading into it, we know that we have an uptrend running. We are looking at the end of June as well, and when we take a look at the monthly chart here, we can see that June is closing positive as well. Not a whole lot of price action here for the month, but we're still heading out. Momentum is still gaining speed. We'll have to see how this market continues to perform, but no action needs to be taken here in the S&P. Let's take a look at the German DAX index. Here we do have a little bit more of a bearish development. Again, talking about this since the end of last year. Breakouts taken, the trend is running up. We have added on in between, but this is up to you where you want to add on, how much you want to add on, how much you want to really milk that cow that is the trend. Now, in our long-term approach, we are entering as we get fractals outside the balance zone like we see here, and we exit when fractals are taken inside the balance zone. So our entry and our exit signal are exactly the same. They are triggered in the opposite direction. So if you go long with fractals above the balance zone, you want to quit your longs, you want to exit your longs as the market approaches the balance zone, gives you a fractal inside of it, and then falls through that fractal level. Now, when you look at the DAX, you can see we are now entering the balance zone. The uptrend is running out of steam here a little bit, and we are waiting for a fractal inside the balance zone to be formed, as then we can place our stops there. Usually when the fractal has been formed, what you see is the market making new highs. Remember, we are in an uptrend, and we are taking an approach that really gets us the middle meat of the trend. And as the trend keeps running, we're not stopped out because of higher lows that are formed. And in this monthly chart, you can see we are up, just like in the S&P. We are running still up, even though we do have a bearish candle here. This is just a monthly rough price data. We can see there is weakness in this market, but as long as we do not have our exit signal, we're not going to do anything in this market either. So holding longs in the German DAX as well. Nikkei also pretty interesting, just like the S&P, staying pretty bullish here, closing above 20,000 for the week, and we are trading above these breakout levels. The first ones occurred down here. The market ran up and then corrected inside the balance zone. You do have your fractal to exit here, which means no fractal inside the balance zone in this area. You were long while the market was coming down like that, and now we're trading higher. As the monthly chart is running up in here as well, as you can see here, pretty fresh. We're still moving higher, approaching these 21,000 highs here. Also holding longs in the Nikkei as we still see this market rising. Now, UK 100, the FTSE index, same situation as in the DAX. We're waiting for that fractal to occur. Right now our stops are here. Now these stops are not in profit yet, as we have entered this market at the breach of the old all-time highs, which are marked here by this blue area. Now stops are just below break even, and we can only hope for a fractal here soon so we can get out as this trend starts to collapse. Now when you look at the momentum indicator here, and this is not to be seen in the other indices, you do have quite a bit of divergence going on. Price is moving higher, but there is no momentum following that price. So a fractal that will be hit is the most likely here in this index actually, and from there on we'll have to see where it goes. If the fractal will never be hit, then of course we're just staying long in this market. Now moving over to some currencies, we were talking about early longs in the euro, and let's take a look at this on the monthly chart here. You do have your euro downtrend that kind of starts to lag down here. You do have prices making new lows, but momentum is not gaining any speed. Prices coming back into the balance zone, and now we have found a place in time where the market gains speed into the balance zone, where we are really done dropping lower and looking for some balance after this huge move to the downside. Now, this, as the monthly chart is moving up into the balance zone, as the trend follower, you're not looking at an overall scenario that is very tradable for you. The market is only looking for some balance. We do not yet have stable movements. What we want to see is a breakout signal on the monthly, which means a upside fractal after the last low had been made. An upside fractal somewhere here, a correction that doesn't make a new low, and then breaking that fractal level that occurred and moving higher. That would then be our signal or our scenario where we want to enter, as the overall time frame has the chance of establishing a completely new move. Now on the euro dollar, this is not yet the case. You do have your breakout down here, which you could use for a quick move into the balance zone when the market starts to trade higher into the balance zone. But you got to be ready for a market that starts to fail as it approaches these important levels here, or maybe even a little bit higher, somewhere here around the 120 mark. Adding on and being very aggressive in these times when the overall time frame is not in a trend is not the best idea. So if you go long down here on the weekly for a monthly trading into the balance zone, get ready for moving your stops up quick. Have a system to deal with that if you want to trade in here. Now we do have reasons to go long, even though it is against the trend, and the reason is this huge divergence that you can see here by the blue line. And we have talked about this when we went short here and we made only a little bit of money. The shorts failed. The trend overall that was down was not continued, and now you can flip your position and just run this long as the market overall trades into the balance zone. Now that's the case for the euro dollar. Euro yen, more thankful, more or clearer in that way, because it already gave us that fractal on the monthly chart. When you look at it, you can see this previous downtrend that failed to make a new low. What it does give you is a fractal level inside the balance zone, and that is our breakout level to follow the market in any direction, as long as the fractal is triggered above the median of the balance zone, which is the red line. So when the fractal is hit, not formed, but hit, above that red line, we go long, and this actually happened here. So overall in the euro yen, we do have a chance for a monthly chart, a monthly kind of time horizon to unfold a longer bullish movement since the breakout occurred, and we have had 2 months stably closing above the breakout. The breakout was here on the monthly just around the 124.20 mark, and we're now trading at 128.40. On the weekly, of course, we want to get in on something like that, and there we have our breakout above this 124.20 fractal, or we have another fractal that was hit for the week here. This week is closing high, it's closing strong, and we are assuming that a trend could unfold here. This one looking better than the euro dollar, since we are not trading into the balance zone on the monthly chart, but we're trading outside of it. We're trying to move away from it to the upside, and that's a trend scenario that we want to follow. And that's euro yen. Let's take a look at New Zealand dollar yen as well. The monthly chart here is also showing us, let me just remove this, an uptrend here which is corrected, and now we have a monthly breakout to the upside. So while this is going on, when you see that the market is not making new lows at this level, you want to start to buy the fractals on the weekly chart or on the daily chart, whichever you trade, so that you can follow the market as it breaks out and then continues on the monthly. On the weekly chart, we have a fractal down here, which you could have used easily. And if you didn't do that, you can use these fractals up here to simply trade the market for a long breakout, giving you the opportunity, the possibility for it to move higher, reaching these old highs here at 95, just about the 95 level. So new opportunities here in those kind of markets. Now US dollar Canadian, kind of the same situation as the euro dollar has seen. You have your uptrend on the monthly. It corrects down into the balance zone. By the way, giving you the fractal that you want to see for your long position that you took down here. If you were trading this chart, your stop is here. Your next fractal inside the balance zone occurs here, and now you're stopped out. So you see a loss of momentum in this kind of move when it corrected into the balance zone after the uptrend, but you don't see momentum building up again. So as breakouts start to fail in the persisting trend direction, and you can really see how that is the case. When you look at the weekly chart, here is a fractal that was triggered over here and it failed in here. Here you have more fractals that have been hit in the direction of the trend. This is where we go long, and we did go long here, but it wasn't successful. We were stopped out on all of these entries here. I think it was 3 entries, and we got stopped out on all of them. We were losing. We were not making any money. We were losing 0.7, 0.8% as our standard position size for any entry. You can watch the risk management video if you want to see more about that. And we were losing on these long positions. So at some point, when you don't get long trades that work in the trend direction, and when you see on the overall time frame that momentum is not being built up and it's just losing steam, it cannot continue the previous trend, and then you get short signals being hit on your trading time frame, like was the case with this fractal here. When you draw that line from here to there, the green line, as it's taken, now look at where the market is now. Of course, you're trading against the trend, so you may not even want to take a trade like this simply because you're not trading with the trend. However, if you have a little bit of a knack for it, then you can put on a low risk position, and you want to really watch out what the market is doing as it's approaching these old low levels here. It may give you divergent bars or just reversal patterns. You want to keep your stop tight. This is not a place to add on. This is not a place where to expect the most stable trends. Now this could just as well end up in a losing position simply because you're trading into a correction. Now this is what you really have to understand. The previous uptrend was running, and now this whole thing here, since it didn't make a new high, the trend is not continued, so where you are ever since here is a correction. And we're expecting new lows, and then the market might turn around to assume the uptrend. We don't know yet, but we're trading in a correction if we're taking a short there at that point. Now, for the last market for the week, we're looking at silver, and let me just point out in silver again, the basic metal situation, same is true in gold actually. Massive uptrend here on the left side, and now you get your correction that is losing momentum very much all the way down here until you get the market picking up some pace and moving higher above the balance zone on the monthly. This is giving you this fractal. Now, as long as it doesn't make a new low in the current kind of trading range where we have been in, then we are looking at a scenario where the correction could be over. You have your impulsive move to the upside, which is now corrected, and the market is likely to head out to the upside. Now, nobody knows when this is going to happen and in what kind of fashion this is going to happen, but it might happen as long as we do not have a new low being made as the market goes lower. Now, this is a very interesting situation because we kind of want to spot the end of the correction. Now, we don't want to trade the end of the correction, but we want to see where it could end, where are some significant levels, so we can take the next fractal that will occur on the way up to the monthly breakout, just like we have seen today, and then take that long and follow the bigger trend that will establish or might establish in silver. Now, when you look at the chart here, this is the weekly silver chart. Now you get your impulsive move. This is what we were just looking at on the monthly chart, your impulsive move to the upside, and this is the correction going back into the balance zone on the monthly chart. Now, as long as we are not starting to go really much lower in this area where price is picking up speed to the downside, making a new low, we are looking for long positions. So first move on the monthly to the upside happened. Now we have a breakout on the monthly to the upside. We want to be in before the monthly chart takes that breakout all the way up here at the $20 level. The market corrects from that high, doesn't make a new low, but turns around, gives you this fractal here. Now you take that. I took that fractal, but the market wasn't able to go higher. It failed to come out of this kind of trading range that has been established, and we failed in our long breakout that was supposed to take us higher to that monthly breakout. Now, we never know how long the corrections go. We never know in what kind of fashion they happen. Therefore, we just take any breakout that technically and from a market structure perspective makes sense. Now, this was the case here, as I just explained before, the relationship between the signals and the higher time frame. And now we're simply waiting for a new fractal to be formed that we can take long. Now, this week is a very interesting week, as we have been lower than this fractal here, which is nothing more than a short-term kind of low. If it's broken, then you have a chance for the market to continue to break low to lower levels, and we have a low here. Now, when we draw, let me draw a rectangle in here to mark that kind of area where we see the lows of that range. You can see that this week completely failed right at those lows, which supports our theory that this is a whole correction. This is a correction of the previous impulsive move. So we do have a chance after price action like this for the market to come higher, to hit these fractals here, or maybe even give us a new one here somewhere. And then we'll do the same thing that we already did right back here when we put in this long order when this fractal was taken. And of course, this happened here in April 2017, so just 2 months ago. Now, for 2 months, we have been just stopped out, and we are waiting for the market to come up or to give us any kind of scenario where we can trade. Now, in my opinion, the theory, the basic market structure aspect of this market is still telling us that this is a possible long, especially this week here, where we have price rejection like crazy of the 1550 area. Now, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you're catching some of those great trends in the indices, and be ready to take new signals always and let them run. Give the markets time, weeks, months. It might hurt a little bit in the beginning, but once you are rolling, you will collect money here and there every couple of months, and your losses are small enough so you can compensate for them. And this starts to be really quite a lot of fun as you get better in increasing your position as well. Now, should you ever have any questions regarding the trading approach, regarding risk management, or how to add on, make sure you hit me up on Twitter or write me an email. I'm always very happy to help you out. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you soon.